So thanks everyone for your participation in the first half. So we're going to move on to doing goal setting with students. So I shared with Jean and Savannah, we're probably going to be pretty quick here in the second part of the training today. I know that through lots of district and state requirements, you are pretty adept at goal setting at this point. So we want to try and kind of just solidify that and offer a little bit more expertise in that area if we can. So just starting with, I know we do a lot of academic goal setting, so, we want our kids to grow X, Y, and Z, but have we done any kind of personal or sort of future planning goal setting with kids in our advisories? So can you share a little bit about what that looks like?
We just did the beginning of the quarter goal setting, so it's long term, and we had them think about their family and their home life, think about their school life, and their personal life. And then
family, friends, and school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do every 2 weeks on my checklist, I do goals for those 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the district is having us do things. They purchased this program, Naviance, that it used to be Cooter. It's like a suite of surveys and inventories and things to help them project and think ahead, 7th through 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like learning styles. If you don't
Well, they tried. I'm so mad at my audience.
you
They kept
have
picking
to do it yourself because it's
but they kept picking my students out once they get in. Some of them went, all of them. Some of them only made it like the learning style. He went to question 2 and it said, "Oops, there's something wrong." He kicked him out. And I'm like, oh.
we're still working out some stuff.
Yeah, but they look at it and they actually they are really interested in telling them what type of personality they have and what type of things they have. And we even talk about the one, how do others see you and how do you see yourself.
Okay.
So it really went with that. And the one little boy that I have the most trouble with, he's trying. His goal is not to be so, how to put it, it's to back off and not try to order people around and do stuff like that. That is his goal, which I'm very happy. He's working on it. So.
Okay.
We have student-led conferences.
Okay.
And so each quarter they have to reflect on academic pieces, but also social development and leadership and set goals, but not only to say the goals, but what steps they're going to take to achieve that. And so we meet with their family, the 2 of us, and the student leads us through, and then we kind of keep a list of these, and then we check back in the next quarter. So.
Okay. Awesome. So you guys, sounds like you guys are all pretty much on goal setting, which is important, and we need to make sure that we're progressing toward there through the end of the year. But just a couple additional tips. So helping students understand the importance of goal setting. It sounds like we all kind of understand that. I think most kids want to be their best selves. I've never really met a kid that doesn't see an area for improvement in some way. So I think that's important. Just to kind of frame the conversation. But the first thing is that this is the reason we're doing this, and this is the relevance, which is true of most academic activities, I think. Another good tip is teaching of SMART goals, which we've talked about. So we know what SMART goals are across the board here? Yes. Okay. So not sure. Okay, great. So we'll just kind of touch on that as well. I know that this is something that comes up a lot is SMART goals, SMART goals, SMART goals. There are different types of goals, but this is the one that we want to try and emphasize in this area. Modeling your own goal setting. So again, this is like every other type of academic activity. Like we model reading aloud, we model questioning, we model how to solve our math problems, etc. We need to share our own goals and how we came up with them and modeling those settings for students so that they know that we as adults, we still do that process. Giving students starting points for their goal setting. So setting goals while reviewing data, suggesting goal topics, like you said, giving them a jumping off point, family, friends, school, so they have something that they're moving toward and that they have some guidance with it right from the beginning. Peer accountability, is this something that you guys practice with regard to goal setting?
Say more about it.
So we basically, this is the idea that like, and we're going to model this activity too, I think. We're going to try anyway. But if a student sets a goal on Monday, for example, and everybody does in their advisory, then by Wednesday, you're continuing to talk about it a little bit, reminding students to work to their goal. And then Friday, kids are checking in on each other. Like, hey, how'd you do on this goal? They're going to meet with their peers to check in. And if they know that their peers are going to ask them questions and hold them accountable, then they might do more work toward that goal. So that's another good aspect of this. And of course, revisiting the goal. So reminding kids like, hey, in September, you had this goal and you met it. And that was good. And then in October, you moved this way. So revisiting them and making sure they're feeling good about meeting their goals. Or, hey, you might have slipped up on this one and it didn't work. But how can we make sure that that doesn't happen again? So making sure that we're revisiting and coming up with these goals consistently. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, great. So SMART goals. SMART goals are these 5 things: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely.
We've done that, but it's for academics.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that I guess what we're saying here is that it can be both in personal and in advisory areas as well. So we want to make sure that the goals are like that.
So like for specific, it's what specifically will I accomplish? For M, it's measurable. How will I measure if I've reached my goal? So how can you actually see steps towards reaching the goal? Achievable. Is it achievable by me now? So kind of teaching students to choose goals that are actually attainable so that they're not just throwing things out there that you're like, that's never going to happen. You will probably most likely not be an NBA pro football or pro basketball player. So let's move on.
Yeah, sure.
I know.
Yeah.
Not within this time frame.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Not while we are still in junior high. That is probably not going to happen. Yes, I know. Relevant. So is this relevant to my larger goals? So is there a connection between me doing well in school and maybe getting to play a lot more video games on the weekends? Or is there like certain, how can this be relevant to my life now? And then timely, when can I complete this by? So again, attainable. How can we actually set a date so that this can be achieved by then and you can feel good about yourself that you've achieved this goal? So that's kind of what we're looking at. So basically what we're going to do right now is we're all going to make our own SMART goals and we're going to put them in the jar like you would do with your students. So the goal here is to choose maybe 1 or 2 things that you can do throughout the week that are attainable by Friday. So that it's something that you could start on Monday and then keep reminding them of throughout the week. And then on Friday, you're going to pull those goals out and you're going to read them and you're going to ask the students if they reach their goals. And that's, again, kind of comes back to that peer accountability. It's making them actually stand up in front of their peers and, to make sure that they are working towards those goals at all times. So we're going to do it real quick. I'm going to use this because I didn't get some extra paper. But we are actually going to take these and we are going to bring them back at our next session to see if you've reached your goals. So they have to be, January.
So,
So it's the first meeting of February.
Yeah,
February. Yes, that's right. It's the beginning of February.
So
Yes.
So they're making goals as related to their advisories?
Either toward it can be a personal goal or it can be one for your advisory. I'd recommend doing maybe a couple of them, and we could do, especially since it's such a small group right
Only
now.
3 of us.
Yeah, we can maybe do one personal one and then, not too personal, but, somewhat more related to your own life because you want to model this for your students, and then do a goal for your class and how you want them to look. I will just come around with some pieces of paper.
And then we're putting them in
You
here.
okay? You got, okay.
Okay,
Still give me paper, that's all right.
Okay.
Fluctuating that
What?
every.
I have more.
Yeah, well, however
sorry.
you kind of want to work it, but I think one at least related to advisory would be good.
Yeah.
So something related to relationship building, the content you're going over.
So,
You could address
right,
mindfulness.
So you also want to put your name on these because we do want to know who they are so we can keep you accountable.
So they have to be attainable by February 3rd?
Yes.
But what if I just don't know if I can do it by then?
Well,
But
you-
I still have it as a goal.
you still have it as a goal. Well, is it something that you could, like, is there a halfway
doesn't-
point
right.
or? Yeah.
Right. And I mean, if you think it's attainable, it works for a SMART goal. If you think it may be attainable, it works for a SMART goal. It doesn't. It doesn't mean you have to attain it, but it is attainable,
And then, yeah.
or it could be.
Because that's one of the things you can like facilitate with your students. If they don't reach the goal, okay, what does that mean? Does that mean you give up on it? No. How can we now make sure that this next week we actually do reach the goal? So there's, you kind of want to facilitate that type of discussion. So if you're done, I'll put them.
I have one.
Okay, that's all right.
I'm trying to think of one for my advisor.
For your okay. If you feel comfortable, you can share one of your goals out, and we can all kind of decide whether or not it is a SMART goal or.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's decide, let's read them out and decide that if they're SMART goals.
I mean, they're not what I would normally write, but they're good for.
They work for this.
Usually like a half a page.
And then if you want to, Savannah, the next step is to do the evaluation. And we're gonna be done. So
Yeah, great.
if you want to get ready, so you can bust out what's fine.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Should we read them out? I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll read mine. So as you guys know, I work with a school here in Cincinnati that we're trying to do a lot of work, basically 100% of the Generation Schools model. So the SMART goal that the goal that I put down for advisory was to assign 10% of all middle school girls a community or professional mentor by Cincinnati Generation Academy by our next meeting. So by February 3rd is what I said. So does it meet all of the requirements? Is it specific? It identifies a group of students, right?
Yes.
Middle school girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's measurable, 10%. Attainable. I think I can do it. I think I can do it by February. It's only a handful of kids. And relevant. I mean, it's certainly going to make a big difference in my work and in the work at the school. So I think that it's definitely relevant. And it's timely. So I identified by the next co-op date, so February 3rd. Did I do a good job? I'm really excited. Thank you.
Way to go, Katie.
All right. Yeah, if you could just read one, and we'll talk about whether it's smart.
Oh.
Okay. I will complete my video and reflection zone with your resident educator program. I will follow the rubric for a 4-point score in each category. This will help me to complete my RESA. I will complete this by Tuesday, December 9th.
Oh.
That's a lot.
Oh.
That's a lot. I mean, it's certainly specific.
Yes.
Certainly measurable. I mean, you're going to do it or not do it. I mean, and as far as relevance goes, I mean, it's required. You're going to have to do it. So, I mean, that's great.
Okay. I will plan for a larger living space by either reconfiguring my house or by buying a new house by February 3rd.
Wow. That's a big goal.
That's a big goal.
I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but
We'll do it.
But I could reconfigure.
You could.
Yeah.
Something has to
So
happen.
you focus on your living space, which is
And
good.
then my students will have 6 plays completed.
Plays?
What's
And their
this playbook thing?
Oh, and the playbook thing. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I can know mine's with
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
One is I will lose at least 10 pounds by February 3rd.
Okay.
Okay.
And for my students, my advisory class will identify/write one long-term academic goal and one long-term personal goal to complete by 3rd quarter with short-term objectives to reach it.
Oh. That's
Great.
That's
Oh,
great.
I like that. The specific part at the end there with short-term objectives as well. A lot of times there's goals without action steps identified, which I think that's really powerful that you're going to put that training onto your students as well.